Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Kpush podcast, episode 30 dude. Christian, it's hard to believe it's been a fucking month already.
Dude, it flew by, to be honest.
But I swear to God. Well, the thing is that our last podcast ended up shit.
Yeah, I know.
Terrible. It was really, really bad. And the reason why is that we cut out midway. So,
dude, that was so annoying because like that first part was so fucking good, dude. And I was just like, what?
Dude, it was really, really good. That first half was really,
I
really
felt like
good.
that episode was kind of like a disservice to us, you know what I mean? Like,
It was.
We had the opportunity and it was so golden, then just like
No,
the
it
world
was a
just
disservice
shitted on
to
us.
It really was. Because then we tried to get back into it, but you never really get back into the flow that you had. When you were just recording a podcast, you're just trying to get picked up right where
No,
you left
100%.
off, and
It's just like
doesn't work out the same.
No, 100%. It's just like you have your energy there, and then it just stops, and then you're like, all right, what's next? Because I don't know, we were like talking about like aliens at some point, and then we switched on to something I don't remember. But
Yeah, no. We were talking about really, really cool shit, which unfortunately didn't make any of the podcast. But it's been a month, so we have a fucking shit ton to talk about, at least, right? I mean, there's a lot that's happened that you and I have not spoken of that you need to inform me of your knowledge opinion that's way more knowledgeable than mine. Because
dude, I got some crazy stuff that's been going on, but
I've tried to keep up. I really have, but I've failed tremendously all the way through. Going in with school. Now we're back in full time the third week. I'm gonna kill myself, but
yeah, dude, I feel that. No, I told you earlier I was doing finals too. It's like
Andrew Schultz said literally the best thing ever, where it was he quoted someone else, which I can't remember who, so it was a quotation of someone, but he said that he quoted someone of, in comedy and in jokes, what you're saying is fiction. Always. Anything you say during comedy when you're trying to make a joke is fiction. But the feeling is real.
Oh, I never thought of it like that.
And so those are one of the best things that make a joke. And so when I say shit like that, you know, I'm not actually going to kill myself, but, you know, there is a slight level of fucking depression and insanity that goes with going to high school. But which makes it funny. It makes it funny.
No, it is, yeah. And everyone can relate to it because they had to go to high school,
exactly,
you know?
At some point.
Unfortunately.
But
I don't know. Sometimes, though, I'm not going to lie. And you might see this when you get like a little bit more older, but I'm not trying to be like that, but like high school, you don't have to worry about other bigger things. It's like you kind of still do have a protection. Like, yeah, you got to do the like passing your grades and all that stuff, but then you don't have debt. You don't have bills. You don't got anything. Like, you don't have to think about, how am I going to get food or where I'm going to be living yet. So you're kind of like, I don't know, not like you're not experiencing the world, but to be honest, I feel like you're living the most of the world. You're living the best life you can because social factors are not actually hitting you yet. You're able to actually be yourself and actually express your personality. And I think even in high school or maybe when you're younger, that's actually one of the foundations of building your own personality, who you really are. Because like when you get older, I see like my parents, like they talk about, or like when they're with their friends and the way they talk, it seems like their personality's out more. But as you get older, it kind of seems trapped. So like within being in high school, I feel like you actually have that sort of liberation because you don't have all those extra things to think about yet. I don't know.
Yeah, 100%, but also completely fuck everything you're saying. I completely feel trapped. I swear to God in my life that I'm not who I want to be in life.
Right.
That I feel completely held back of what I want to do, of what I want to say on this podcast, of what I want to be published. I really
hold back too,
myself.
Though. Yeah.
I feel like I can't talk shit. And you're going to this place that you're forced to go that I don't want to go to. And you're not really allowed to talk
Right.
about the things you want to say, and your opinion doesn't really matter at all.
They only want one opinion.
They
You
only
ever have
want-
like one of those school debates?
Exactly.
And they're just like, oh, you
Exactly.
debate one side, and the teacher goes,
Exactly.
I'm going to be impartial, and then you say one long thing, and they're like, attack, dog
Exactly.
dog pile.
Exactly.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking
Exactly. And so, and you're saying debt. I'm not going to college.
about. No, I know. But like even like, all right, how about saying for
Bills,
when you get your bills, you know what I mean?
bills,
Just bills.
yeah, for rent and shit. Which, like, how I look at it, I'm working 50-hour week.
I know, you already put in the time.
I'm already putting in the time, man.
True.
And
you already got one step ahead, and then, yeah, you're right.
And I've worked harder. I've worked really harder, and the main thing that's really holding me back is high school. And I'm planning to go ham this summer, sir.
Dude, I hope that for
crazy.
you, man.
This summer. Because I have a plan. I understand.
All right, you going to
what's
reveal
going
this
on.
plan? Come on, let me hear a little bit about it.
I want to drive around kids.
Okay.
Not in a sexual way.
Because that just sounded really weird. You want to try? You
But,
want to pick them up at their house and be like, "Hey, you want a piece of
There's
candy?"
a lot of white moms in the area who
Oh.
like to get drunk
Yes.
and are unable to drive their kids around while they're intoxicated.
Mm-hmm.
And I can be the middleman. I can be the man who profits off of this. Because no one wants Uber for their kids.
No.
No one wants...
Are you trying to create your own market right now? How are you going to advertise yourself? Right?
A little bit.
This is crazy.
Dude, am I doing good?
No, I'm buying into this.
You're
Keep on
buying
going.
it?
Come on. Tell
I'm
me.
going. No one wants Uber for their kids. No one wants a
Right.
random, strange man who only gets... The only thing you get is a star rating and a fucking license plate. That's it. That's all
Right.
you get in a picture. You want someone that you can call to and someone that you can contact and have
someone
a
you can
phone
trust,
number.
you know?
Someone you can trust.
And that's you.
And that is me.
You want all the mommies just to call you and be like, "Yo, Chrissy, can you pick up my kid?"
Right. Yeah, exactly. And they overpay as fuck because I'll make them pay when they're drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And
You're a fucking genius.
and it'll be great. And then also have at Shaw's, which I'm gonna suck up at Shaw's a little bit as well. I'm not gonna lie, I fucking hate it, but I bite my tongue.
Yeah,
It's the
no,
only
I
thing.
feel that. I'm just making do.
I'm going crazy, man. I'm like, as soon as I get out of Shaw's, as soon as I get high school, there's gonna be
It's game over. It's game over.
innocent man, a wild, mentally diseased white man running around in Texas. America won't be safe anymore once those things happen. Once I turn 18, once I graduate, once I quit Shots, it's over.
Are you guys straight up do stand up the minute you get to Texas?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm doing it here.
Oh, you
Doing
are?
it as soon as I turn 18. Yeah, Boston is the best.
No, I know.
place.
There's a good couple clubs.
There's a good couple clubs. I think we're still fucked with COVID, but I don't want to say anything because I don't really know.
You don't wanna
I haven't
jinx
looked
it.
into it, but also I know you're not really allowed to go into stand-up clubs until you're 18.
Right.
My parents won't let me drive into Boston really until I'm 18. So really, like, there are a bunch of complications, or I could just wait until I'm 18.
Right.
And I'm also kind of a fuck off and a lazy prick.
Right.
So I'm just going to wait till I'm fucking 18. And then as soon as I'm 18, I'm going to fucking get the shit done because all those limitations won't be holding me back, which, I'm a lazy prick. I just don't want to deal with the limitations.
Dude, when you have your first show, let me know.
Exactly.
Do you have to? I'll be there. You know that.
I don't want anyone there that I know because I'm going to suck dick is the only thing. Once I'm 6 months in and maybe I have like a good minute or something, because apparently you have like a decent minute, like a minute of stand-up at 6 months. I don't know if that's true or not. Hopefully. It is.
You gotta work the magic formula.
Hopefully.
Are you gonna break all the barriers, or are you gonna just stick to the woke crowd?
I mean, I'll do whatever I fucking want to.
That's
I
what I
don't know what
respect.
that means. I don't know, like, really, like, if I do break records, I'm just going to do whatever kind of feels right.
Yeah, dude.
There's
That's
going to
exactly.
be a lot of imitation. in the beginning, just because of like.
You gotta figure out who you are. You know, you gotta figure out your style. Like everyone's a little different.
But like, you know, I'm gonna try my own shit.
Yeah, bro, you're a funny fucking guy. So
I
like,
don't think I'm gonna be funny in the beginning. I don't think anyone's funny in the beginning is the thing.
Right.
So.
No, I mean like.
But I've definitely been better at this podcast for sure.
No,
every time I do this podcast, I get better.
It's 100%. It's practice. It's just you expressing yourself.
For sure. And like the way I keep a conversation going, and the more I do it, the more I get into a groove, the more I get better and better at it. So you're catching me right now at like a really good time. I'm really smooth. I'm really in the groove right now. I kind of know what to do and shit like that. But when I'm not doing it, I fucking fall off the cliff a little bit. I'm a little rusty. I don't know really what to say. It's kind of hard for me to keep a conversation going if we're not in or to steer a conversation, I should say more. If like we're in a more boring topic, I don't know how to steer it to a new, better conversation. Yeah. But if I'm doing it a lot, I'm way smoother. I'm way better on controlling the conversation, and I'm doing more ambitious things when I am doing more podcasts at a time. But also, school kind of gets in the way of that.
No, of
school
course.
School is kind of a little dick up your ass. So
no, I feel that too. Like you can't put as much time in your craft, you know, and like it's all about practice.
It's frustrating.
It's a grind, yeah. But no, I know what you mean. Like sometimes you're trying to cut out. You don't want any dead air, and you don't want to like I don't know bore the people.
Well, I do want to touch upon this one subject. I really do, because it just needs to be addressed. There's no way that it's my first podcast since the particular situation happened, and it would be a douchebag thing not to somewhat touch upon it and to somewhat, you know, share my ideas on it. But it is a very sensitive subject, and I want to tiptoe around this to try not to offend anyone. I want to make this clear, though. This is my first thing that I want to make this clear. I did not know this motherfucker at all. I didn't know him. I if you asked me what his favorite color was, I really couldn't tell you. If you asked me what his birthday was, what year, like anything about him, I really couldn't tell you. But for those of you that don't know, we had a senior at Oliver Ames, Greg Griffin, overdose and died Monday. And it's Thursday of this week, and it's I mean it's challenging, and to be in the community where a bunch of shit has happened, especially with school, it's just another add-on, and I'm not even the ones who are emotionally affected by this. I really am not.
Right.
Like, I don't know him. Like I said, I couldn't tell you his favorite color. And for the ones that are emotionally affected by this, I saw people cry in school when the teacher or the principal said it over the announcements.
Yeah, man, it's sad.
And it hit them like a truck. And I mean, it was super sad to see. And so for them, I can't imagine what it's like. It's
like tough because you never think it happens to you. Like it's gonna happen to you in your life, you know. And like I'm not trying to say in a selfish point, but like you never expect that some kid's gonna pass away in the grade or like in the school. I know during my time in high school that actually some kid did pass away, and it was tough. It rattled the whole grade because there's some sort of connection between the students. It's whether you're not directly friends with them or know them, you know that kind of like the community in a way is affected. Yeah. And like it's tough. It's honestly tough, but like you have to keep, I don't know. My condolences, sorry. My thoughts are with the family, and I feel bad and for those who are grieving, and it's just tough. It's just tough. It hits the school hard.
Yeah. I'm going to try and find the links for the t-shirt orders for them. I know that they're doing a T-shirt, and they're also doing a GoFundMe. I'm going to try and put that in the description of the podcast. But I mean, you don't know someone's full potential at 18, or what they're going to become, or who they're going to become, and what talents are in them, and where they're going to grow to be. And so for someone to be swiped away from that, and someone to be stolen of that, it's sad to see, no matter who they are. And again, I mean, I saw this guy, and I said hello to him a couple times. He was super nice to me. I don't have any complaints with the guy. And, I mean, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say anything, though, because I really didn't know him. Yeah.
Just like, guys, if you know people who are doing drugs like that, that's hard. Just, you got to tell them, just like, yo, cut it out.
Yeah.
Just cut it out.
But Gavin's coming on the podcast Saturday.
Yeah, that's the guy who knows him, right?
So I think Gavin knows him. Hopefully he does. If he doesn't, it's going to be really weird. Hopefully Gavin knows him, so he can touch upon him and maybe bring us some good words.
Yeah, about him. Like, to talk good about his life, you know?
Yeah, talk good about him and stuff like that.
It's like, it's always nice, like, when someone dies, you talk about the positives.
I can't say anything, though, because I really didn't know him.
You know, you don't want to be fake.
Exactly.
You don't want to be fake. You don't want to be like,
I want to be straight up. Is that I'm not emotionally affected?
Right, you're not trying to get any guilt. Yeah.
I get.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't develop a relationship with him like the others did. Right. You don't want to do a disservice to them. Exactly.
100%. I get it. Rest in peace, bro. You got this, man. I bet you're chilling up in heaven, just chilling.
I hope so. I really do hope so.
Or either way, he's
with everyone. Let's move on.
All right, let's go, bro.
Because I really didn't know him, so I don't want to do a disservice, and I hope that Gavin can shine some light on him in the next podcast. Hopefully I can find the links to put them in the YouTube. Only it's been a couple days, though, so I'll try and find the links. I think I'll be able to.
Yeah, dude. So wait.
I want to talk about one particular thing for. Wait, do you want to say? Do you want to say something? Okay, I want to dive into our first topic here.
All right.
That seems to be brewing the internet. That seems to be taking kind of the world by storm a little bit. What the fuck is going on in Israel and Palestine?
Okay.
What is happening?
Okay.
I saw you made a video on it. I'm interested. I've seen so many posts. Andrew Yang made a Twitter on it.
Everyone was crapping on him. Yeah.
Everyone was angry. What's going on? What is happening now?
So in Israel, the problem. All right, it's really hard conflict because like in Israel, there's two people. There's the Israelis who are the ethnic Jews. They're the Jews from that area, and there's the Palestinians who are Arabs, and then they celebrate Islam. And so so you know like how in Italy, right? There's Italy, and then there's the Vatican inside Italy, right? You know that?
Okay.
But it's like Italy's actually its own state. So Italy's its own country actually.
Okay.
But I mean not Italy. The Vatican's its own country, even though it's in Italy. It's kind of like that, but not. It's like it's a region. It's not like a country. It's like this region inside Israel. And it's like kind of it's like their Chinatown, but it's not. It's really hard to explain. It's like it was this area that the Palestinians were occupying, and the British gave out, and it's within Israel. And these people in Israel, the Jews, there's a specific holy land inside of Israel. There's the Al-Aqsa Mosque. It's inside. It's near. It's inside Jerusalem, and that's where I believe Muhammad. He said it. I don't know. I hope this is kind of like off of the top of my head, but I believe it was This is the spot where Muhammad he prayed, and then he went up to the great beyond.
Okay.
So heaven.
But you're also not.
But so it's
on this, so you could be wrong. So
no. I did the video. Yeah, I know. This is just like the gist of like this is a holy land.
Okay. So you're pretty sure.
I'm pretty like I like this is me. I might get a little details off, but this is the gist of it.
Okay.
So this is the Holy Land. This is a special little mosque there. It's in Jerusalem. It's inside the mount, the Temple Mount, but it faces the Dome of the Rock, which is this area where they believe where Abraham brought his son Isaac to kill for God, but God stopped him. So this Islam and Judaism, they're actually this kind of the same religion. They're Abrahamic,
right? Yeah,
right. So the kind of parts of the Old Testament, right?
Islam and Judaism,
they have some sort of roots together, right?
Yeah.
So they are actually battling for this territory inside, because also within that region in Jerusalem is where it used to be the Solomon's Temple. It was one of significance of the Jews because they created the temple for God. It was the first time that God can establish land. So there's this special area in Jerusalem that has a famous monuments for the Islams and for the Jews, so the Israeli people. That is very precious to both people. And there's extremists on both sides that don't necessarily want to give up that land and want to try to conquer and fight for it back. And so the Hamas is a terrorist, kind of like an alt-right, the alt-right Palestinian group. They went to attack the Israeli people and shot rockets, but the Israeli defense stopped them. This was in counter-protest because Israeli people are actually Israeli extremists were going into Palestinians' homes and kicking their families out because they're trying to create the whole state of Israel as a one ethnic Jew state. And they're kind of trying to get rid of the Palestinians. The U.S. right now is currently siding with the with the Israeli people, which are the Jews, because it's our really ally in the Middle East. They're kind of not both doing good because you got Israeli people kicking out Palestinians from their homes and trying to get rid of them in general,
right? And
they're counter protesting too. So like they're both killing and hurting each other at the same time, and there's not one clear good guy.
So,
in my opinion, at least.
Would you say that Israel started it, but now Palestinian is... How do you say it?
Palestinians?
Palestinians,
so they're from Palestine and they're Palestinians.
Palestine and Palestinians... extremists are now fighting back,
right? Because they've had escalations like even before the rockets and the Al Mosque. But the thing is too, Israeli police threw stun grenades in an Al Mosque while they were celebrating a Muslim holiday, I believe, and they threw stun and they erupted the whole thing, causing some tension because the extremists were fighting back. And so it's like I said, like both sides are doing some sort of harm, and they're actually this past rockets that is the Israeli Prime Minister sent that targeted Palestine killed a lot of women and children.
So, and this is kind of, I don't know, my perspective on things on the U.S. might get criticized here a little bit, but there was right organizations. There was right-sided organizations that were kind of racist and things like that, and they've slowly been getting better. Racist tendencies in the United States have slowly been getting better. And then there's this leftist kind of march that, or how do I say it? Leftist ideas that come up that kind of completely overtake the right ideas, and they kind of become the extremists a little bit, and then you have the right side become way more extreme, and so it's kind of, and then they just slowly become way more extreme until you see the thing on Capitol Hill, or you see the thing in what is it, Mississippi, or
where the riots are, Seattle, Portland.
Where you see the left side take over 13 blocks, and then you see the Capitol, them storming it, where you just see the slow escalation of things throughout the country where there is no real bad guy.
Right. No, I understand.
It's kind of like that, though. It's kind of like that complicated, almost.
Right, yeah. It seems like even, yeah, you're right. And the courts and the system, they've been punishing Palestinian people very harshly because the prime minister is Jewish. So there seems to be some sort of favorability. And right now they're getting the support of the U.S. And you're seeing actually Democrats and Republicans. Half of the Democrats kind of agree we got to protect Israel, and like, to be honest, if I was gonna give my opinion on it, although like there are Islamic extremists and we've experienced Islamic extremists across the world, the Israelis are kicking people out of their homes. They're trying to take over the whole country and nation, and they're trying to eliminate them. Something special about our country is that we can have different cultures, you have different religions, but they're able to coexist with each other and live with each other. But these people specifically don't want to, and whether or not it's because of just of religious significance, because like I said, these mosques in these areas, they're very important to them because it ties into their culture, and they have no certain control, and they want to see who can control the area. It's like, I don't know, like it's not like, I don't know what, to be honest, I don't I'm not the man who has all the answers, but I don't know whether we let them bicker with each other, but like if one area is saying we're just trying to defend, like the Palestinians can make this argument, we're just trying to defend ourselves because one group which we're within the state wants to kill us, and then they can argue the other. I really don't know the answers here, but in the terms of the United States, I see their point. What they're trying to do, I'm not saying I accept it, but they're trying to back Israel, like the people of the Israelis, because it's a better advantage for the United States as an ally because they don't have that many allies in the Middle East. Right. It's very difficult.
That makes sense.
It's just I don't want people to die. I don't know the answers necessarily, but
and then people are getting mad at Andrew Yang.
Yeah,
because he's making a comment.
Because a lot of Democrats support actually more of like Islam and the Palestinians. They back that a lot. It's not, to be honest, I don't necessarily get it. I kind of mentioned this on my podcast. Like, if you think about like radical Islam or Islam, they're very, just Islam in general, it's very conservative. Like, or I'm not conservative, sorry. They're very traditional, like, you can't, they don't accept gays. They don't. Like, female rights is non-existent. Right. They have to like cover themselves up and everything. And like, I know it's a science tradition, but like even respect-wise,
a very particular. And there was someone on the Joe Rogan podcast who was an activist in other countries and such, and she had been in some Islamic countries, and then she went to France, and she went to Syria, and she kind of saw Islam, and there's a part of Islam that's very radical that does like violence.
Right, no.
So is that conservative? Are you talking about that type of Islam?
No, I'm not talking about the radical. Okay. I'm just talking about just the generic, basic, like, practicing and such. But you're right into the aspect. There is some, there are many radical Islamic extremists.
Right.
There's the ones that take it too far. I don't know if you saw my episode, but I talked about like how there's even problems within France right now. They're experiencing a civil war. There was
that was the episode that I was talking about on the Joe Rogan podcast, where there was an activist that kind of broke down perfectly, and she had seen it kind of firsthand of it arise and saw how it happened, and she lived in some African country and then moved to Middle East and saw it all happen, and it's an amazing story. Should I look it up, or should I just be a lazy piece of shit?
Up to you, bro.
I'll look it up slowly, but it was an amazing episode, and I think that it was very complicated, but this is kind of all been simplified on social media on both situations, on like the France and the Civil War, and also on this Palestinian and Israel.
Yeah, I just don't think that the media is telling the truth, really, or not telling the full truth. Like always, like you get the New York Times, they're only telling the pro-United States imperialist version showing that, oh, we're going to back Israel because we just need them as an ally. We don't care about the people that the Israelis are harming. And like, it's really hard because I don't know what stance to really take. It's just like both sides are doing harm to each other, and they're kind of trying to fight for something what's significant to them for religious property, and I understand that. But I don't want to see people dying. So many people, rockets like were shot into Israel, into Palestine and Gaza, and it's just sad to see.
Yeah, no, it is. Okay, I found
a
person, but Jesus Christ, is my dyslexia not going to allow me to say this? Do you want to try and read this? It's this one. Please try and say that name.
Ayan Hershey Ali.
There you go. Okay. So, she was an activist, I think, in the country of Morocco or some African country. I'm not exactly sure. And she was she was supposed to be in a forced marriage, but she got out of it because she went to Spain, and then she went to Middle East or France or something. And
that's always crazy how I think about forced marriage. It's like,
oh my gosh, it's
so disgusting because like you're thinking like
today.
I know it does. It's just like you think that these women are just trophy pieces. Like, oh, I'll economically choose you to marry that fool because I want them farmland. I can't believe it was like that one time. But like, yeah, you were saying, sorry.
No. It is completely ridiculous. You are right. But you see all this kind of distrust on the social media, and the media is not being honest. You're kind of saying and all this stuff, which the media never is really fully
the media is I'm always hard on crackdown on the media.
Yeah, which you should be. I think the media now, for the first time ever, is in a place of accountability, which is good. I think it's never been in a situation before where it's kind of...
Oh, dude, I'm actually very happy right now of what's going on. Like, the media is actually going to maybe experience some sort of consequences right now in Florida. Did you ever hear about this new bill that's from media censorship? No. I know we're changing the convo a little bit.
No, it's okay.
But,
around a lot.
Yeah. So in Florida right now, Governor Ron De Santos, who might actually be Donald Trump's VP running in 2024. That's what everyone's thinking.
Okay, we'll get to that later.
Yeah,
that's a topic we need to discuss on, because that's fucking insane.
Yeah, so Governor Ron De Santos, who's been doing really good. His COVID numbers are great. This man is actually, I criticize a lot of Republicans, and like I told you, I don't support the Republican Party anymore because they do nothing and they don't actually support my interests anymore. Right. They're pro-war. But you see Governor Ron De Santos, he's actually pushing on policies that attack censorship because, social media has such an impact, and they masquerade as this platform for political discussion, but in reality they're apolitical. You can't talk.
Right, I did kind of want to discuss on that too.
Right. So right now, like how Donald Trump is banned, right?
Right.
So on Twitter, Facebook, and such, right now he's passed a bill that if you ban a politician or someone running for office, you are going to be fined $100,000 a day.
Oh God.
It's honestly great, and they set up guidelines that you cannot be banned, or you can't be banned for your point of view or your political discussion, as long as you have certain amount of views, certain amount of viewership or whatever.
Yeah, well,
you have to be established.
The problem is with a lot of people is that they don't fully grasp the situation with Twitter and Facebook, where in some of these way poor countries where they don't really have any access to social lines phone lines and being able to call and text message and do all that shit, where they only have WhatsApp and Facebook, and they come with the phone pre-downloaded, and that's the only way to communicate in these really, really poor countries. And then they have these censorship guidelines with these governments that Facebook just kind of allows, where people don't really understand what's going on with censorship and how big of a role it plays in some of these places, because you're literally not able to communicate in any other way.
Well, yeah. Well, I actually think some of these countries are. I think they're starting to realize. In Australia, they try to pass some legislation that taxed news outlets for posting their blogs on Facebook or Twitter, and so they can create revenue because they get ad revenue. They were supposed to tax that. Facebook threatened them, and they cut off all their services. And Australia said that they're going to face some backlash against Facebook, and then even India said that they had problems that Facebook was interfering with their elections. I think it's starting to see across the world and not just within the United States that other countries need some sort of they want some sort of regulation because it's infecting their governments. And you're right to saying, like, in these poor countries or these dictatorships, like say for example like China, China actually, they censor whatever they want. The government they cancel it. Yeah. But these poor countries, they're not able to get any information, or they can be manipulated in a way, like in Venezuela or even in Brazil, and how the media starts manipulating and playing for these other politicians, like what Glenn Greenwald solved. But it's honestly insane. But you're right.
And going back to what we were talking about within Florida and such, I kind of wanted to discuss, because this going on with the Palestinian-Israel thing now, is that Facebook is censoring photos. Am I right on this?
Censoring photos on Palestine and Israel?
Yeah. I saw that there's a particular against, I think, Palestine. Is that
I wouldn't be surprised. Photos? I actually haven't seen that, but I wouldn't be surprised because like I say, for a lot of to my viewers on my channel, What's Up America, guys, so follow that. But I say that the corporate media usually follows the establishment. Whatever's pro-war, whatever that benefits in foreign policy, they only tell the pro-America side. So if I saw something like this, and like say for example, Israeli extremists harming Palestinians, I bet you they would cover that up. I wouldn't be surprised. But that's insane if what you said you saw, but like that's crazy.
Yeah, and I saw people, particularly on the left, who were supporting the ban of Donald Trump.
Right.
Which I thought was kind of ironic, is that they were going and supporting the, fucking, why is the word slipping from me now? Jesus fucking Christ. Ban of Donald Trump, and now they don't want the ban of Palestine and Israel. And I mean, the rules apply to everyone. And if you have the rules set to ban Donald Trump, they can easily use that on Israel and Palestine.
Well, they never...
And nothing's stopping from them.
Yeah, well, this is why when there was a very important podcast, it was actually, I don't know if you saw it. I know we mentioned Joe Rogan so many times.
Yeah.
It was Joe Rogan, Tim Pool, but he was talking with Jack Dorsey and one of his lawyers.
Yeah.
And they were mentioning how...
No, the Twitter one.
The Twitter one, right. They were mentioning how Twitter has these guidelines and that they enforce them, but they don't enforce them equally upon everybody. So, like, say, for example, recently, right now, right? So, LeBron James, he received a lot of flack a couple of weeks ago because he posted a picture of the cop who shot the girl who was knifing the other girl.
Right.
And he had the picture of the cop, and it said, "You're next," #accountability. And, like, that was a threat.
Yeah.
And during a time when activists are violent and such,
is
like,
completely ridiculous, because that wasn't a case of police
100%.
brutality.
That wasn't police brutality.
No.
This woman was ready to kill the other girl.
Exactly.
So like, he was well within his right, and he was protecting the other girl.
And that's the problem when we do have police brutality. When we have real police brutality, like this 13-year-old boy who was shot, who was unarmed, who apparently did lift his hands. And we also have the Kim Potter thing where she fucking misplaced her taser.
Yeah, say taser. But it's like, she made a mistake, but like you got to be pissed. Like, you've been trained. Yeah, I understand that.
When you have these situations, then you have actual non-police brutality situations where they're just complete. When you see the video and you're like, what?
But you know what the damage is, though?
This
I know.
is crazy. This is not police brutality.
Yeah, but the damage is that LeBron, he has this following, he has these groups and people who look up to him, and like he says something irresponsible, doesn't give really the facts or details, and people are gonna pick it up and they're gonna think just like him because LeBron says it, and that's the reality. It's sad, but that people are gonna do it, and that doesn't help the cause. It doesn't fit the situation, and to be honest, like I said, the cop was within his right. Call that controversial if you want, and He was saving someone's life. Imagine someone stabbing you. If the cop can't do his job, then what's the point?
Situation ever about this whole when you say Black Lives Matter, especially for this type of situation, the cop saved a black life. The cop was saving a black girl's life.
Right.
That girl was about to kill an innocent black woman.
Right. So
that white cop saved an innocent black woman.
You know what the crazy thing is? What did they want him? What did they want him to do? Did they not want him to do anything and just let the black girl die? That's what they seems like they wanted them to do.
They think that a taser would work. I mean, and you don't fully know in that situation. When she's that close to her throat with a knife, you had no idea.
Exactly.
You have no idea.
It's just like, it's dangerous. So like, if cops can't do their jobs now, then what's the point of cops being there? You know? Yeah. Like, if you're a cop right now, if the department and the city is against you and you can't even do your job to protect the city, and I'm not, obviously there's wrong cops and we have to do police reform. Police
brutality.
Yeah, exactly. We have to do police reform 100%. We need to have active body cameras 24/7. But if they can't do their job and they're not even being protected by the law, by following the law, then why should they be in the job? Why should they still be cops? If they're following the law within their rights and they're doing what they can do based on the law, and they're getting now in trouble for it, or like they're being depicted as villains, why be a cop? Ever think about that?
And there is a real difference with this situation where resisting arrest is becoming an increasing big issue, which we kind of need to figure out. And here's my thing on it, is that restricting arrest is not good. I don't think someone should be allowed to restrict arrest. I really don't. But also, you shouldn't be able to fucking misplace your gun for your fucking taser.
Oh yeah, the officer has to receive all charges.
Like and
like this is a trained officer. It was like she was a union leader and everything.
And you also can't accidentally put your fucking knee on somebody's back neck for 8 minutes and then they just happen to fucking die.
There was actually a lot on that. I don't know. That case is actually...
Dude, George Floyd was murdered by the cop, man.
I don't necessarily can put that 100%. I followed that case. Man. And hear me out. He had a combination of fentanyl and methamphetamine. Fentanyl lowers... restricts your airflow. He had an enlarged heart. It was a medical condition. He was known to have overdoses. He had an overdose 2 months before of the same problem. He was saying, I couldn't breathe before entering the car. I don't know. You have to prove innocent of doubt. I'm not saying that Derek Chauvin was for the final nail in the coffin. I think he was a factor, but I don't think he killed him necessarily.
Let's
and he struggled with the cops.
Let's go with this hypothesis.
I think he should have got manslaughter.
This hypothesis. Jesus fucking Christ. This hypothesis. Thank fucking God. That George Floyd was having a complete overdose and that cop had absolutely no response to his death at all. I'm
not saying he had no response to his death.
But let's go with this hypothesis. Yeah. Let's go with that back of the knee on the...
But did you know the Minneapolis police taught them that technique?
What?
The Minneapolis Police Department taught the police that technique.
Yeah.
So if a cop was within his right and following the instruction, and this is why I'm saying negligence, I think he should get manslaughter. But
for 8 minutes?
But it wasn't totally for 8 minutes. He was moving here and there. He said, I couldn't breathe beforehand. He was fighting with the cops 10 minutes beforehand, before even getting in the car and getting out. And technically, an officer during the trial, when they had when the prosecutors were questioning one of the witnesses, yeah. He said that actually Derek Chauvin was within his right to use a taser on him. And this man was literally overdosing. So if he was within his right to use a taser and actually use that, it probably would have killed him. So if you're looking at a
Overdosing, shouldn't you
taser,
take them to a hospital.
huh?
If someone's overdosing, shouldn't you take them to a hospital?
But like, right? He was saying, I get that. That's why I'm saying negligence. But like, I don't think necessarily 100% he's the one that killed him. And then like, even there was two
But if you're restraining
examiners.
someone from getting the help that they need. don't
But
you kinda
if
feel
they were fighting the cops, he was fighting the cops. And I'm
Yeah,
not
but
saying
he's high as
I think
fuck.
this is
He's
what.
high as fuck, and he's also overdosing in this equation. Of course, you're gonna resist the cops.
Right, but like if you're a cop, you remember you have to follow a certain protocol, and like I think this is I think you're right. Why, to a certain extent, is he on him for that long? That's why I was saying negligence. But also, like, you have to think about it. If the police department itself taught you that technique, and you're getting in trouble for that technique,
Does the technique tell you to do it for 8 minutes?
it doesn't. To be honest, yeah, you can argue that, and that's I 100% agree. But like,
And does it tell you to do that when they're clearly having some sort of panic attack?
when they're struggling, yes, to calm them down because it's technically nonviolent. That's what one of the witnesses said. It was a nonviolent technique to use. And I'm not saying it's right because I think that, like I said, negligence that he did it for so long and he should have read the situation. Mm-hmm. But to say 100% he was the final factor of killing him, I don't think so. And then to be honest, you're looking at the jury and a lot of the jury started questioning. There was one alternate jury who said that if she were to actually give the testimony, because there's alternate juries and there was real juries, so they can try to balance the bias or whatever.
Right. Yeah. I know.
And so she said that she knew that, if I picked one answer, it's going to get some group mad. But she said she didn't want the riots to happen. What answer is going to give her the riots to happen? No, guilty.
Right.
In addition, another juror who lied on the questionnaire saying if you ever attended a Black Lives Matter march, lied on the thing. There's actually a photo of him saying in one of those Black Lives Matter marches saying, and it has a shirt that says "I can't breathe." That means he has some sort of bias already.
Right.
And then ongoing with, I don't know if you heard with Maxine Waters when she was there before the trial and they giving the final verdict, she was within the crowd saying, if they don't give the right verdict of first-degree murder, which he didn't even get charged with, then we must get confrontational, even calling for violence. Joe Biden even too said there's a resounding amount of evidence to prove guilty or something right before the answer comes out. So there's so much influence in it, and I don't know. I followed that case a lot. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a lawyer, but I looked at it and you have to think about it like this. You have to prove intent. You have to prove that he's innocent until proven guilty. And I think he should have got manslaughter, 100% secondary manslaughter. But to give him all charges, I don't necessarily know.
Did he get first-degree murder?
No, it was only second-degree murder, second-degree manslaughter, and third-degree murder.
What's second-degree manslaughter?
Negligence.
What is negligence?
You didn't mean to kill him, but you killed him.
So it's first.
First-degree murder means you had intent to kill.
No, not first-degree murder. Wait, hold on. There's 2 second-degree murders?
Yeah.
So what are the 2 names of the
Second-degree murder and then second-degree manslaughter.
Second-degree manslaughter. Okay, so what's first-degree murder?
First-degree murders.
Second-degree murder. Rather.
Second-degree murder is oh my god, off the top of my head. Wow, this is bad. I'm blanking. Second-degree murder is
This is weird.
Huh?
So these are all different charges?
Yeah, he got charged with 3 things. Wow, I feel like a dummy right now.
So they're all 5, 15 years?
Well,
years?
it's different. It's different per state, but he's gonna get locked up for a long time.
How long is this man in jail for? Should I look this up? Should I just not assume that you know all information? Because I'm a lazy piece of shit. I can look this up, man. Where is it? Is it not set up? Oh, no. Oh, no.
Second-degree murder is defined as murder that is not premeditated or murder that is caused by the offender's reckless conduct that displays an obvious lack of concern for human life. So it's the intent.
So basically means the same thing.
Right.
So second-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter are basically the same thing, and then third-degree murder is just accidental.
Right.
I don't dude. Sometimes the shit
It can be like indirect. Like an example of third-degree murder was, say, for example, this: if a drug dealer gave you drugs and you died from those drugs, then you get third-degree murder.
Yeah, right. What I'm saying though is that second-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter are basically the exact same thing. And the fact that you can double charge someone on that, it seems pretty fucking ridiculous.
I mean, but if they do it, if they're killing someone, I don't know. They deserve it.
No, I get that. But wait, what? So are you on my side or?
I am on your side.
But like, it's just seeing. I get that they do deserve that, but that's why we should have all the other ones accountable and equally set out. I don't know why we need two of the same. But anyway, that's besides the point. I don't think, though, legitimately with the George Floyd case, that if he was having an overdose, if he was having a legitimate problem or a panic attack or whatever, that a well-trained cop should know what to do in this situation to de-escalate the situation.
Oh, 100%. I think he was reckless too. This was why I said manslaughter. It's just like if like I said earlier, for like cops, if you're told to do this and now you're getting in trouble for it.
So you're basically just upset that they're told to do that.
No, think about it like this, right? If you want change, right, and you want to blame, you want to fix the system, and I think this technique is horrible. I agree with you.
Okay.
But hear me out. I think this technique's horrible, right?
Okay.
But now he got guilty with all charges, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means, even though he did that technique, that the department taught him and killed George Floyd, hypothetically, or no, it's defined that right now the verdict is that's what killed George Floyd.
Someone should take responsibility, though.
Well, now Derek Chauvin's the only one who takes responsibility. It's not the state who takes responsibility. Now they get free away from it,
so the
because that means
should take some responsibility.
Right, but now they don't, because think about it.
Okay.
Because now Derek Chauvin's the fall guy, and now the technique.
Okay.
Well.
I like what you're saying now.
So,
I agree with what you're saying now.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think this guy's a piece of shit. He shouldn't have done that. 100%. Like, you have to de-escalate the situation, even though he was ODing and fighting back. Like, and he's like, I can't breathe. You need to take some sort of seriousness in that.
You need to take the man to the hospital.
Right, but I'm just saying all these other factors that I'm for all degrees of murder. I think he should get some sort of charge. But now you're scapegoating the state. Now they can get away with that horrible technique, right? And I know that actually the DOJ is investigating.
Is still there,
right? And technically, right now, I saw in the news that the DOJ is investigating in that technique and what they're teaching them, and they might actually fix something. Yeah, hopefully, but we'll see. But
the government kind of sucks.
That George Floyd case was, I don't know. I wrote an article about it, just saying.
You wrote an article?
Yeah, I started on a Substack. I started doing a little blogs now as well. Wow. Yeah, so I wrote about I wrote about the factors. I also said it was just about mentality, and like if everyone has to deserve a fair trial, like even the Nazis got a fair trial, you know. And so a lot of people, what?
The what?
The Nazis even got a fair trial.
Oh, yeah.
Right, you know? And, like, a lot of people straight out just says, he's guilty. And, like, I understand that. But you have to allow due process and see what information comes out. And, yeah, I don't know. They actually, right now, the Derek Chauvin case, they might get a mistrial because of, like, these elements, like I was telling you about the jury being influenced and what Maxine Waters and Joe Biden ended up saying. They actually might have to redo the trial. And it might get into more messes. It might get to more riots. It might get to more destruction. I know Florida put their anti-riot bill protecting that stuff, and now it's a federal crimes. But if you do it, but it might get worse. I don't think it's, in my opinion, I don't think it's gone. I can just tell you what's the information's out there and what you can think on it on your own. But yeah, it's complicated.
We gotta get out of Massachusetts. I mean, this is what needs to happen.
Oh, hell yeah! It's either Texas. This is what I was gonna ask you. Like Texas or Florida. So why are you picking Texas over Florida?
Because I think there's gonna be more comedy in Austin.
Joe Rogan's there. Yeah.
And Dallas.
I believe it.
That's it though. That's it. Miami though. Miami looks nice.
I would miss the beaches though, and like you don't got that in Texas.
I've never really liked the beaches.
Really? I'm more of a woods guy.
Mass, dude. There are beaches for like 3 months here. 3 months a year at the beaches, and they're only at Cape Cod. And Cape Cod isn't that nice. Cape Cod's really over fucking hyped.
No, I know.
The only reason why Cape Cod is
Dennisport's nice. You ever been to Dennis? Dennis is beautiful.
Dennis where?
In Cape Cod.
No.
Oh my days.
I don't know. I've been to Cape Cod probably like 5 times total. Like I can count.
That's how you can care less about Cape Cod. That's how much.
I don't give a fuck. It doesn't look that fucking nice, dude. If you put Cape Cod in Florida, who the fuck goes to Cape Cod?
Okay, yeah, you go to fucking Florida, but like the Cape Cod's nice in Massachusetts.
If you take Cape Cod and you put it in fucking Florida, no one gives a fuck about Cape Cod. No one cares about Cape Cod. Cape Cod's never talked about because there's fucking Miami and fucking Tampa.
Cape Cod potato chips, bro. Yeah, I got you, bitch. Those shits are gas, and you can't get that anywhere else, bro. Only in Massachusetts. Yeah, does Florida got a chip? No.
Dude, Florida
everybody knows Cape Cod potato chips.
Dude, Pennsylvania has better food than Mass.
I've never been to Pennsylvania. I want to go.
Dude, Erie's like one of the like top 20 fattest cities like in the country. It's fucking crazy. It's so fat down there. The food is so good. It's crazy. There's
you go every year, right?
Yeah, at least once every year. They have Stefanelli's and then Romulo's, which Romo's, or I don't know how you say it. Romulo's or Romo's? Romulo's or Romo's?
I don't know, bro.
Romo's? I don't know. But there are 2 chocolate stores.
Okay.
And one of the chocolate store was owned, and this guy had a son, and the son took one of the chocolate store's recipes and then made his own chocolate store. And they're basically the same chocolate.
Yeah.
There's like slight differences, but they're basically the same recipes, and they're fucking fantastic. But no other store has the recipes. There's only those 2 stores.
Would you ever move back for a little bit?
Yeah.
What do you like more, MA or PA?
Definitely not Easton. Easton is kind of sucks.
Yeah, there's nothing really near here.
There's a depression in Easton, Massachusetts that's really for white divorced mothers. Easton is a really good town for if you're white and you're divorced and you're a wife and you're a mother and now you're a single mom. That's about it.
Yeah.
Or you were a wife, is what I meant to say. That's it. This is all it's good for. And other than that, it kind of sucks. There's not a whole lot to do here. And oh my fucking god. Sorry for my alarm. But and the school sucks. So there just isn't like a whole lot here. So I probably go back to PA. But I think Boston. I don't think Philly is better than Boston.
No, Boston has some different soul to it. Like we're all cold. You know, the cold air is just like what makes us like we're all tough people.
Erie has cold though too, dude. Erie's got way more snow than here, dude.
But I feel like the people from Boston are just different.
They're different.
Like they're just like schmuck. You're like, eh.
Yeah, no, they're weird. They're weird. There's not really a place like it. But Texas though is the goal, man. I'm sick of the cold. Either way.
Me too. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
it's kind of funny though when you saw Texas get cold for the first time and
and everything went down.
Like
my god. I know, dude. I know. Like sometimes I went in the fall to Florida and it was like 55 degrees, and everybody was like in like jackets and a scarf. I'm like in shorts and a tank top.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, it's nice, and everyone's looking at me like I'm a weirdo. I'm like, yeah, y'all are a bunch of pussies. I'm from Massachusetts, you know. I know what the cold is. Like, get you. What are you doing?
Yeah, no,
like, honestly, it's so funny. It's honestly hilarious.
It is. It is really fucking funny, and but I mean, are you done with college now? Are you getting on finals?
Right now I'm in finals. On Monday I got 3 big ones that are 2 hours. I got econ, Israeli philosophy, and international relations. So
nice.
It's gonna be tough.
Nice.
It's gonna be tough. But
what the fuck are you doing with it?
You know what? I'm doing pretty good right now. I'm actually writing an 8-page essay all about like social media and censorship and like authenticity.
Yeah.
I've been taking like a lot of philosophical classes, and yeah, it's getting a lot. But like I'm finishing up, and then one more year?
Yeah.
And the senior year.
I want to go back to school. It was weird. Is that one of my teachers now is like just starting to push. Like some teachers are taking some big fucking risks this year, in particular with like gender and shit.
Yeah.
So like our teacher, I think it was the day after the kid overdosed, literally first period. It was like during the lesson she compared bootleg liquor and the alcohol probation to gender.
How?
Dude, I was sitting there with my eyebrows raised.
I don't see the connection.
Basically saying like how it was non-traditional to drink alcohol, which I don't think is true, but she keeps telling us that it was non-traditional to drink alcohol. And how traditional kind of lost, and now how gender, if you think that there's two genders, that's traditional, and that thinking that there's multiple genders is thinking there is 2 genders is traditional, and thinking that there's multiple genders is non-traditional, and that non-traditional will win. And it was just like, okay, that was weird. You just kind of threw that in there. It was really complicated.
No, man, these schools are changing. I don't know if you heard about this. Like, it's just all this critical theory stuff. It's not even just race theory. There's even gender theory, in certain areas and different cultures. Like what you believe in, like only 2 genders, that's now considered controversial, right?
Yeah.
Even though it's been like that for a long time, but like
whole historic period of human beings that has been
right. And it's just always just like I'm 100% down. You can express yourself. I'm the transgenders like 100% support.
If you're an adult, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Right, 100%. I agree. I'm not. I do question, like, say for example, allowing your kid to transition when they're younger.
But also it's weird to talk about it in school.
Right, because it's like still politically. I don't want to say debated, but like we don't know too much about it yet, you know. And it seems like it's still being discussed, and it's not like we don't want to not promote the discussion.
Right, but also you're not promoting the discussion.
Right.
In school. You're telling
one side. Exactly. I 100% see that.
You're not promoting what is the truth or a hypothesis. You are saying what is true.
Right.
And it's uncomfortable, no matter what I think it is.
Well, when I even say with
transgenders,
with transgenders, say for example, right now, like if you actually look at the generation, so say for example, millennial transgenders, they believe that there's only 2 genders, that there's only male and female. Right. My generation, or we're the same generation, Gen Z, I think.
Yeah.
And Gen Z believes that there's non-binary. You can be she, they, he, they, whatever. Right. But there's the generation who's even younger than us who believes in you can be anything. You can be places, you can be characters, you can be whatever you want as your pronoun. So there's not even like a consensus between all different ages of transgenders of what the spectrum is. So there has to be debate, or there has to be some sort of fine line, because if there's no...
And so what are you going to teach in school?
Right, exactly. And it's tough, and the curriculum's getting to an extreme points. Like, I don't know if you even hear in California, they said that 2 + 2 = 4 is racist. It supports Western math. There's other ways of teaching math. If you say that math is objective and that there's only one answer, that only supports white dominancy. 2 plus 2
Who's
plus
saying this?
the California Board of Education. They're trying to change the system and promote other ways of learning.
Are you being serious?
I'm being dead serious right
Can I
now.
look this up?
Yeah. Do California school 2 plus 2 equals 4, I think. Not Ferrari. Is racist.
Right here? Food and...
No. 2 plus 2 is racist. Just type for is.
This? Seattle schools? Proposed
California's latest yeah.
here.
Go down. Oh.
Alright, sorry. There we go. Okay. Sorry, we were getting the thing set up for people who's
according
watching.
yeah. I don't know if you want to read that there.
I can't fucking read.
Okay. It says, according to Seattle educators, math instruction in the United States is an example of Western math, which apparently is the appreciation of mathematical knowledge by Western cultures. While everyone agrees that 2 plus 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, and there are 360 degrees in a circle, Western math critics worry about nuanced issues such as why teach kids Western counting and not, for example, algebraic counting. Apparently, ancient cultures... Hold on. Go down. I don't know if this is the right article. Oh, here. Students will be taught how Western math is used as a tool of power and oppression, that it disenfranchises people and communities of color. They will be taught that Western math limits economic opportunities for people of color, and that they will be taught that mathematics knowledge has been withheld from people of color.
What?
So something that's
Can we
supposed
get
to be...
another article? Okay, so let me... So this is .org.
Right,
This doesn't look... And this is 2019.
Yeah, so go back... And there's Fox News did an article too, so maybe type in /Fox News. Isn't that crazy? So that they call what we learn in school it's Western math, but there's other types. Yes, it's a different style, but think about it. There's Fahrenheit and there's Celsius. We learn that there's miles and kilometers. It's not we're picking one over the other. It's just goes of majority.
This is Fox News.
Yeah, dismantling racism in mathematics and guidance in the draft for statewide framework.
This is crazy. But this was an idea.
This is but this is a draft for equity math. All right.
Because this is from like 2013, so they're not doing this, right? They're just...
Well, they're trying to implement it. So, like, even look at the date of the article. So, if you want. It's been pushed by this equity math program.
I'm getting April 14th. It's not telling
me. It doesn't
me.
tell you.
A year. Give me a year.
It was trending on Twitter the other day. So, like, this isn't... All right, so, yeah, 2021. People are typing for 2021. See? So, read the comments. I wonder what they say. When I was in high school, I hated math and made poor grades, but high enough to pass. Fast forward to the military, and by that time, I had to take it into me to think I could be an engineer. I went back to college, applied myself, and learned to understand math science enough to become an engineer. The more I learned, the easier it became. Moral of the story is, race doesn't have anything to do with mathematics. School starts at home and not in the classroom.
We don't need to listen to random people's comments.
Yeah, I know. But so now that something like math is being under attack, and now it's called racism. You've read it. You saw it. It's... How do you feel about that? I know you kind of seem shocked.
It's weird. I mean, it's weird that it's an idea being promoted. It is. It's really, really weird. I also have to pee.
Me too.
Really
bad.
Fucking badly.
We're in hour 9.
We're an hour and 9 minutes in. We can just say fuck you, and we can just go pee really quick.
Yeah, sure.
So just we'll make this fucking 3-minute piss break, but we gotta fucking piss.
Yeah.
Alrighty then, fuckers.
We're back.
I apologize, but fortunately, if we want to keep this train going, we have to take a little piss break. Gotta fucking pee. Gotta
I
fucking
had a little
pee.
tinkle.
Shit happens, man. I mean, we gotta fucking pee. There's a long time of us talking. Fortunately, there's no one else here to sub in, but it's fucking okay, man, because we're fucking here. I wanted to talk to you about, because I'm trying to think about what things we haven't been able to talk about since you've last been on the podcast, and one of the things that I found pretty interesting was the Caitlyn Jenner stuff. She was been in a little bit of controversy recently where she said transgender athletes should not compete in sports. Am I right?
Yeah, she said transgender females shouldn't be allowed to compete in female sports because, like, biologically, even though you can have these hormones changes, you still have prenatal hormones, and you're built a certain way. You have your appendages. You're biologically a man, right? So you have an advantage. Men are, like, biological men have a superiority over biological females. Right. That's why females don't compete in men's sports, or they can, but, like, you don't see any real girl, like, say for example in the WNBA compete in the NBA, even though they can. They don't, because they know. But, like, and I'm not trying to say that the girls aren't putting any work. It's just you're at a biological disadvantage. It's like that's why even in the UFC, a man can't face a woman. I remember it was like for women in sports. It was in Connecticut, I believe the state was, and these girls, they were running cross country, but there was transgender females who, all right, so I believe it was the first 10 spots you get a scholarship, right? Well, 2 of the spots were taken by transgender females. So a couple of girls who trained their lives and tried their best did not get in. So now they're suing, and because they're saying, how is that possible? They tried their best but then now they're at a biological disadvantage. Right. So there's now even court cases and controversy, and it's interesting with Caitlyn Jenner because, like, she is transgender, right? And transgender. And like she has a conservative stance on a progressive movement. I don't know, but she also sees it because she's an Olympic gold winner. Like she got that gold medal.
Well, most interesting part is I think about the whole thing is most people who are going against Caitlyn Jenner right now also support the idea that men should not have an opinion on women's issues. Right? That most of the people who are going against the idea that transgender females should not be in biological women.
Right, yeah, I agree, but like
going against those people hold the idea that men should not have an opinion on women's issues.
Yeah.
Why then can anybody argue with Caitlyn Jenner about this opinion? Because there is no better transgender athlete.
Well, you think about it, the left likes to promote this idea that you're able to have freedom of speech, but also you have your right to keep your own perspective. You can't stop someone's perspective. Right. Like a transgender has this way of living, you can't deny them their truth. And so now that someone else she's a transgender, she has her own truth, but she's conservative, all the red alarms are going crazy, and they're like, no, this can't be. Like, and then you start seeing even transphobic remarks from liberals talking about her, and they're like fake, or like whatever. It's just like it's whatever the tribe likes.
But how can you argue with her though? Is my question.
And that's what I like to see. Like,
if you support the idea that men can't, talk about women's issues, how can you have anyone else talk about transgender issues in sports other than Caitlyn Jenner? I don't think you can, because there is no best woman, right?
And that's the problem.
But there is no, like, queen bitch. There is no, like, because you can't really rate women. Like, what are you going to rate them on? Looks, attractiveness, personality? Like, there are so many things that you could rate them off of that you couldn't really get like an accurate description of which one is better and which one has more of an opinion on the other one.
This is why I don't look at who they are as women. I look at more on like who they are as a person.
Right.
And exactly. Based on like.
But if you go with that notion that just because you're a woman, you have some sort of priority over someone else's opinion. Well, then what else? You need to measure that on other things, wouldn't you? So
I feel like you have
about transgender athletes. You're talking about the best transgender athletes on transgender athletes issues. Mm-hmm. Who else can say?
Yeah.
Because who else has put in the amount of work, the amount of dedication other than Caitlyn Jenner?
I 100%. I understand that. I think even her opinion is even more valuable, like you're saying.
Exactly. But if you're going on the left's perspective of life, it's the only.
It should be
I'm saying. Right. If you go with that notion, it's the only valuable. You can't.
It can only be what transgenders can like debating against each other, I guess.
But it's the best one.
Right, for the right, right.
There's no other better transgender athlete. Right? There's no other one that's like...
Well, Hannah. You remember Hannah from Australia?
Okay, but like...
If you got time, Google or YouTube Hannah, the Australian handballer.
Everyone knows who Caitlyn Jenner is.
Right.
Not everyone knows who Hannah is.
Right. No, you're right, because
no one's accomplished as much.
Right.
So Caitlyn Jenner is the best one. So really, she should have the most valuable opinion and really the only valuable opinion.
Yeah.
But the left doesn't.
But the left doesn't even want to hold up
their own
view or perspective. Yeah, exactly.
It's
and
weird.
like, I don't even think that's the right way to think about this. I think we should evaluate. I think look at her opinion in a greater aspect, but I don't think we should limit speech. I think people have to talk either.
I
know, but
perspective
right,
on that is
it's
wrong.
wrong.
I think that men should have the ability to
have
talk
some sort
on women's issues.
It's not like if they're right, but like you still allow them to talk and debate. You know,
have more valuable opinions.
Right.
I think that's also true. I think that women have more valuable opinions on women's issues other than other people.
And women's opinions are diverse too.
That Caitlyn Jenner has the most valuable opinion on transgender athletic issues.
Yeah, I can agree.
I
think she has a good opinion.
Going with the same logic.
I think it gives a lot of perspective, 100%.
I don't think that it's the only right opinion, and I don't think that she should be the queen bitch, but I also think that she probably has the most
something of value. No, 100%. I agree. And honestly, I hope she does well. People in California, they don't like Governor Gavin Newsom. She's even said that on a CNN interview, they're trying to bait her on like the Trump stuff in the Republican Party, but she said, well, I don't really like labels. And she says she thinks she's even more libertarian. Right. She says she's like economically she's conservative, but socially she's progressive. Right. And, like, to be honest, that might be attractive.
She homophobic?
No,
she was homophobic. Yes, she was.
I don't know. Was she? I don't know. Why would you be homophobic if you're trans?
Maybe before she was a she, but she was homophobic at one point. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I remember she said she was traditional. She was very, very traditional.
Wow, I didn't know that, but like...
she said that. Yes.
Yeah. That's some crazy stuff. Wow, that makes... Well, you know, people change. People change, you know?
No, people do change. But she's saying some wild shit.
That's some people say wild stuff back... Yeah, it's not okay. Yeah.
She pulled a Joe Biden. She did a 180.
Yeah, she did a 180.
What else? What else do we got to talk about? But yeah, I mean, that shit's just crazy. It's just crazy. I think this topic is done with. What else do we got to talk about? What else did we miss?
Trump, if you want. Or
oh yeah, so is he running again in 2024? Is that real?
Yeah, I think he's preparing it. He says in 2022 he's going to start his MAGA rallies again.
Are the Republicans going to take him?
I think they have to. You're looking at this where, so there's this outspoken Republican Liz Cheney who like is going after Trump and saying that his elections, talking about the election, is just lies, that they shouldn't support it. They shouldn't even support Donald Trump because of the insurrection. And they ousted her from political leadership. She was one of the chairmen. And so it seems like the way that Republicans work, it's like a family. It's like a cult mentality. They all have to work together. It's like you don't disrespect the family. If you disrespect the family, you lose your job.
Right. But that's kind of how Donald Trump got in, right? Is that he was just disrespecting people.
Yeah, but like his cultish behavior, I mean, the way that people liked him like you saw his MAGA rallies, you saw videos of those. Yeah. It's like waves and waves of people. Or like you never see some president have like so many Trump flags. I know like this is the second president or third, whatever, in your lifetime. But like it's
well, just looking in the history books, right? I mean, that literally looking in the history of time, it's nothing.
He's the most hated and loved president of all time.
It's crazy.
Of our time, at least. And you see Trump flags now still, right?
Yeah, those people are insane.
They're not going away.
Should be maybe shot publicly, but I don't know.
But I don't think the Republican Party has a chance. I think they have to take Donald Trump. I think, to be honest, they shouldn't. In my opinion, they should get Ron De Santos. He should be on front on the ticket, and then maybe Josh Hawley as vice president. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Trump is running.
It's disappointing that Donald Trump is now our option for.
It is, yeah, it is kind of disappointing,
guy,
dude. That he's our ticket.
I mean, like, way that the Republican Party can survive is with Donald Trump. I feel like that's a little sad.
Well, it's just because like he can get the people going. And don't believe me, Donald Trump has as many faults. He continued the wars, but you know what?
Even though that he said he tried to stop it,
right? And he never pulled the troops out of Afghanistan.
Do you think Biden's gonna do that? Do you think Biden's gonna pull the troops out of?
They were supposed to pull the troops in June, and now they pushed it to 9/11. Did you know that? I'm like that's ridiculous.
I didn't know that they pushed it back, but I do know that they had some sort of date, and then they changed it to 9/11 to have some symbolic.
Some
bullshit.
20-year anniversary. Oh, the war that we jumped in that was a complete lie, and that you lied to us saying that there was weapons of mass destruction, but in reality there was nothing, and we invaded these countries and destroyed them for nothing. Oh, yeah, 20-year anniversary,
also,
and then we're pulling away.
No one knows about it.
They don't talk about it.
No one pays attention to that war.
If you look at it, guys, look at the Afghanistan papers. When they found out that there was no actual weapons in there, Nancy Pelosi had the chance to impeach President Bush when she gained power in the House, but she and half of the Democratic Party signed off on this torture mechanisms on these people, so they're accomplices to them. So even though they make this huge shout and cry over like Donald Trump and how he's this horrible fascist Nazi dictator and how he's doing this horrible stuff, hasn't done any extreme war crimes to that extent, but when Bush did it, and they had the power to it, they just brushed it on the bridge because they were in bed with the thing.
Did you see, yeah, it's shit's, like, really, really fucked up, and it's also kind of crazy that there's, like, this symbolic nature when, like, no American citizen gives a fuck. Like, no one knows. And, I mean, it's, like I was saying, it's a war that we've been in, but that no one knows. But I wanted to talk about something else. I know we keep changing subjects here, but... what is it? The mayor of Miami. You see him talk? Do you know of him?
What about him?
He has an 86 approval rating in the fucking city, which is dictatorship level, like over dictatorship level votes. And it's 86 and it's going up and it's almost crazy, and
do they love him that much?
He's probably going to be the next governor of Florida, and it's going to be fucking insane. He's probably going to be
what's his name
someday. I'm not exactly too sure. He was on Flagrant 2. He was on the Flagrant 2 podcast. I can look it up. What?
I don't know. Florida's been producing some gems then.
Yeah,
Florida. They've been passing good bills like that riot bill. They've been the censorship bill. Honestly, if that censorship bill passes, I don't know. I might move to Florida because like one day maybe my account might go down.
Okay. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God.
Francis S. Suarez.
There you go. Thank goodness you're here. He was apparently... He's from another country where communism took over or some sort of...
It's probably Cuba.
Yeah, probably. I think
it's probably Cuba or Venezuela.
And he's been there since 2017. 86 approval rating, which is dictatorship levels. He's going fucking crazy. He was... the way he talked on Flagrant 2 and the way his mind works is excellent. The way he
Is he a Democrat or Republican?
Republican.
Oh, nice.
And he talks... He kind of sounds libertarian almost, but the way he broke down COVID situation where he said we had to evaluate the amount of death that COVID caused and the amount of damage that COVID was causing, but we also had to evaluate the amount of damage that it was doing to students, to the elderly, to the mentally ill, to alcoholics, and all these sort of things. And they made an active decision to open up way early, which... Now they have the exact same amount of COVID deaths and the exact same numbers as us, and they're doing pretty fucking well, and their economy's not to shit.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that, by the way, is that their COVID numbers are not nearly as bad?
Well, Governor Ron De Santos, from day one, he said that his administration did not push it to like government officials on how to set up all the medicine. He gave it straight to the top medical guys, and they found out the plan. They distributed, like, in the first couple of weeks, they had 45% of their senior population, 65 and up, already vaccinated within like 3 weeks. I think they're in record levels. I think they're doing really great, man.
Yeah.
Like, I see so many photos of people going there for spring break and like getting all their masks off. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm a little jealous, but
it's also kind of hypocritical because the same people that were going fucking
like the crazy ones, exactly. The ones that were so hypocritical that they're like, oh, I gotta be COVID safe and everything. Some of them I know weren't even fully vaccinated yet, maybe the half or one, and they went, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
so like
crazy, kind of crazy.
It's just like your morals are not really there. It just seems like, oh, you're just projecting.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I've never fucking got COVID. We've fucking seen how many people on this podcast. How many fucking people have we seen on this podcast? But you're doing it at a fucking weekly distance.
Yeah.
You're fucking, just checking yourself.
Right.
And also, we're just fucking teenagers, man. I mean, you're not a teenager.
I'm not. I wish. But not anymore.
You're like basic. You're 21, man.
Yeah.
Like, you're still fucking young.
Oh, 100%. Dude, my 20s are... I can't wait.
Dude. What happens when your 20s are over? How is that going to feel, man? Once your 20s
Well, think
are
about
over,
it like this. I'm like,
where will I be when your 20s are over? I'll be 26. You'll be 30. I'll be 26. That will be weird.
That would be... Dude, I probably would have a kid.
Dude, the fuck? Fuck, I'm gonna be an alcoholic still. Actually fucking boozing all the time, getting high as fuck every day.
See, the thing is, like, I want to have a kid, like, the right amount of time, so, like, I'm a grandparent for a long time.
Right.
Because, like, I want to see that. Like, I had my grandma. I even had a great grandma. So, like, I like that whole long family. Like, you get to know so many, and, like, oh, wow, you created this.
Yeah.
It's like my little empire. My village, Right, I gotta create my own village.
Your army.
Yeah.
If
I'm like,
shit
I
goes
made
down,
all of...
You need to know who the fuck's up.
Exactly.
I get you. There's one other thing that I want to talk about, the Israel and Palestine thing is, with all this posting and whatnot, it's kind of frustrating to me that they're not posting the Chinese Holocaust that's going on right now. Like, no one's really talking about the
Uyghur Muslims. Oh,
that are being in a Holocaust, which is significantly worse than the Israel and Palestine
yeah. Well, the thing is,
which, to no defense, is still really, really fucking bad. But in my opinion, a Holocaust is worse than two nations going at it together and there being confrontations of extremism. A Holocaust is a whole different, like, we're all fucking Holocaust. Right. Like, straight up Hitler death camp.
Right. And experiments on everything, torture, rape, everything.
Yeah.
Well, the crazy thing is, right, so in January, it was when Biden finally got into his office, his Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, went to Alaska, met with foreign leaders, and they met with China. And Anthony Blinken went to China saying, you have to do something about your Uyghur Muslim problem. This is unacceptable. This is human right. You're going against human rights. Trying to show their big must and actually speak up against it.
Right.
But surprisingly, the Chinese said that the U.S. has no power and they should not be criticizing China because they're our country and ourselves, and we admit to it that we have problems, that we're a racist country, and that we have problems of systematic racism. And so now they're using our own language that we talk about ourselves against us, and now it's kind of like saying, how dare you talk to us? They're like, that hasn't happened before, which is kind of scary to think about.
But it's also funny because this is happening with Israel, where you're saying, look, do not blame the Jews, don't blame the people in Israel, but then when you say fuck China, you get looked at funny. You're again, hey, what are you saying about China, man. What are you saying? Why are you going against the Chinese? What's up with the Chinese? And you're like, whoa, I'm not saying anything about the Chinese. I'm saying the fucking China government.
Yeah, the Chinese communists. That's the problem.
The Chinese.
It's not the Chinese people. The Chinese people have no say. It's just like in
exactly. And so when you say free Palestine, fuck what the Israel government is doing to the Palestinians right now, that's acceptable. But you're not saying anything against the Jews. But yet, when you say fuck China, people will look at you funny.
Right.
And it's odd. It's very, very odd like how we're approaching these two different situations.
Right.
Which I think one is way, way worse than the other one. Now, but also the reason why this has kind of been talking about is there an increase of anti-Semitism right now in this country because of what's going on? Is that real?
Well, anti-Semitism is the number one hate crime in America.
Okay.
They receive the most amount of hate.
Now, because this has always been my type of confusion of hate crimes and stuff like that is internet DMs being and like Twitter feeds being counted as hate crimes, because to me and someone sending you something, because now we know that there are in fact Chinese bots and Russian bots who literally these governments have set up buildings to people working at who are just trolls who just send people shit to the US to try and start controversy. You know about this?
Yeah.
So they fucking...
Well, some of them, did you ever hear about that? Some of them were created by Americans. There was a guy who got banned from Facebook. I believe he was from Texas, and he created fake robot Russian bots to promote Trump, even though he was a Democrat. So because when they were pushing the Russiagate thing, they were saying Russian bots were aiding Trump, but in reality, it was a Democrat pushing. It's crazy, but yeah, you are right. There are Russian bots and there are Chinese bots that are influencing and stirring the conflict. They're doing it on purpose. Like if we're tying this to, like I said, to the Alaskan meeting. So, but the point is, I'm going to let you finish this. The point is the idea that these bots are sending anti-Semitism to Jews in America is not that far-fetched. No, I believe that there's...
And the fact that these people who aren't even real are getting anti-Semitism from, and then these people are getting angry, and then they're counting that as a hate crime. I get that you're offended, and that's offensive, but a real person isn't even doing that to you. That's a literal government propaganda machine that is doing that to you.
Right.
That's not even from this country.
Right.
So I don't count that as hate crimes in America.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, I get that. I haven't really heard a story.
Anti-Semitic or not, but then if you say like,
I mean, they are saying anti-Semitic. I haven't heard really about this anti-Semitic bots.
But if there is anti-Semitism of people going up, spraying swastikas and doing things chanting things like that, that is hate crimes. But also that I find funny is that I know Ben Shapiro has been the number one
target of anti-Semitism,
for a while now, and people don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
people
but
don't
like
give
if you say anybody else,
people will bring up anti-Semitism, and everyone goes quiet and silent, and they all feel bad, and then someone goes, "Well, Ben Shapiro is number," and they all go,
"It's because
fuck you, shut the fuck up, I don't want to hear it," and they all get mad at you. It's weird. It's really, really weird.
It's because he's on the wrong side, dude. But that's crazy. I didn't hear about the anti-Semitism bots, but anti-Semitism is a huge thing.
Well, I don't know if there hasn't been a report on anti-Semitism.
Oh, but you were just saying like people targeting people, saying certain things to stir conflict.
That's not that far-fetched.
No, it's not far-fetched. They do that. I 100% agree.
Or the idea that it's a 13-year-old, because I fucking would do that shit at 13. I remember doing some of that shit at 13. I'm not gonna fucking lie. I was a piece of shit at 13. Who isn't a piece of shit at 13 though?
Right.
4 years. 4 years ago, I was a complete shithead. But that's how you fucking act. If you let a 13-year-old go alone and experiment, they go fucking insane. And also, I'm fucking insane. So you give an insane 13-year-old who has undiagnosed fucking mental problems, and you give them the internet. Yeah, they go fucking crazy. That's what fucking happens. But that's different than going on up to a temple and spraying a swastika and chanting with a white hood on. Those are two different things.
Right. But we still got, yeah, you're right. The level of intensity is two different things.
Right.
We just got to call, and like even in your experience, you did something wrong and then you learned from it, and that's how you do better. You have to learn, and that's why you have to.
Happens,
it should happen.
Like
everyone just makes mistakes.
And the idea that anyone who says that they didn't do fucked up shit at 13 and that they didn't do really fucking messed up.
Well, cancel culture will never let you go. Like it'll always stay with you, and like we have to.
Even 13-year-olds though, there's been a big pushback though, because remember Sky Jackson? Remember when she leaked a 13-year-old for saying the N-word and then she got doxxed?
Wow.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Everyone was fucking pretty happy about that.
Yeah, but like that's messed up.
Even 13-year-olds, there's like a pushback of like, you gotta let somebody fucking grow, and they're on the internet, and the parents should be fucking watching this. It's not necessarily.
No, but some parents act like kids. They just hop on too.
It's some parents are fucking busy. It's also true. Some parents fucking have 14-hour shifts and 12-hour shifts.
It's dangerous. Social media.
You give a kid a phone.
That's why. I don't know. Would you give a kid your phone early?
How can you say no is my question. How can you say no to like a 13-year-old when all the other friends are on social media?
But like, really do you really want them to rot their brain? I hate social media. I hate it so much.
I do too. But I don't know.
I feel like they can do so much better. I feel like if you don't have social media and like you have like your friends, I feel like you'll have a more real connection.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for girls though too.
Yeah.
Because then they think about it, then they maybe get anxiety from not being able to check. So I don't know.
But if they never had the phone, they would never have the anxiety.
Yeah, but they see their friends. But they see their friends on it.
That's the problem. But like, I don't know. For me, I feel like I have to push my family to be like, you got to be an individual. You shouldn't want to do things because other people want to do it. You have to just choose.
The problem is though, is that you're thinking the mind of the adult, right?
Yeah.
You're not thinking the mind of a kid. And the mind of a kid doesn't give a fuck about what you think.
Yeah, but then
you know that.
But I know that. But then think about it like this: you want your kid to just.
And you gotta you want to have trust with that kid. You don't want that kid.
Right. I'm not being like a hardo. Oh, 100%. I guess. I just don't want my kid to be like basic. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want him to just be like, oh, like if I had a daughter, it's just like her just taking photos all by the mirror or something, or my son like.
I think it's
doing
important to. I think there's a couple things that I think you should do with your kid. I think one of them is hunting.
Oh, I want to go hunting. Yeah, I do hunting.
Because I still have never been hunting, but I think it's the way people who go hunting describe hunting. I think it's very underrated in our society of knowing what the food chain is. I think we're very, very disconnected of where food comes from. And maybe you don't have the kid hunt. Maybe you just watch them hunt or something. Because I think that it is very vitally important to know where food comes from and what meat actually is.
It adds value. It makes you feel like, okay, I'm actually killing someone's life, so I should be grateful and thankful for everything. No, I 100% agree, Ben. That'd be cool. I want to go. We should go hunting sometime. We'll have to. In Texas.
I'll do it.
I'm actually planning to get my LTC
in Texas
probably.
Is you can go on helicopters and shoot pigs. Machine gun. That's what fucking Texas is about. You can get on a helicopter.
You can get a tiger in Texas. You know that?
Dude, did you know that there are more tigers in captivity in Texas than there are in the rest of the fucking world?
Tiger King taught me that. Yeah, I remember that. That's
Joe
insane.
Rogan taught me that. Do you know how fucking insane that is? There are more tigers in Texas than the rest of the fucking planet. That's so crazy. That like the rest of the world.
That's not. I don't know. Do you support that?
How many Texases are in Africa? 100? Are there 100 Texases in Africa? How many states are in Africa? 50?
I have no clue.
Are there big states in Africa?
Africa has different countries.
countries. Why am I getting the words mixed up? The United States has fucked me up so badly. There are so many countries. How many countries are in Africa?
I do not know.
Are there 50
not 50
countries?
I don't think it's 50.
Are there less?
Less, but they're bigger areas. Like you got Egypt,
Yeah, I feel like they're huge, right?
Yeah,
some
of them are huge.
To
some
Texas.
Dude, I know. Like the wildlife there, like if you're thinking the whole continent of Africa compared to Texas, you mean like that's insane. There's way much more land. There's like
Asia.
like remember like 3 or 4 times.
How big is Asia? Is Asia bigger than Africa? I may be talking.
Asia's bigger than Africa. Yeah.
How many Texases can fit in Asia? And then there are still fucking more tigers. And don't tigers come from Asia too?
Yeah, there are tigers in Asia.
Jeez. So the place they come
from Africa and
is
Asia,
more bigger.
Yeah, they have more tigers in Texas than in Africa and Asia combined. I don't get it. I don't think they should be allowed. I don't know why. Just let animals be.
Look. The idea that that's real and that pot's also illegal there, though, is also kind of ridiculous. That's the most ridiculous.
You'll never get that in Texas. I hope so.
That. They're getting that soon.
You think so? Hopefully.
I think there's already a back door in Austin to get it. CBD's legal there now, and if you get caught with marijuana, you can just say it's CBD, and the cops aren't going to take the time to test it. So I hear. And then there's already a proposal for it now. So we'll see.
Well, it's crazy to me because like
I want
Joe Biden ran on legalizing marijuana, and then he went
back on it.
Yeah, and then he fired his White House staff members because they were known for smoking pot.
Dude, that's so ridiculous.
And like Kamala Harris admitted to smoking weed. So, like, I don't get it. I really don't. It's hypocritical. And you know what? They're banning menthol nicotine. So they're banning menthol cigarettes.
It's so crazy.
It's just like, oh, you're still in the war on drugs, Joe Biden.
Dude, he's still in the war on drugs. That's so insane.
So you can't.
I don't know. So then what is he going to do? Are they going to throw people in jail for having mint?
I think you probably get a fine or something, but like they're not allowed to sell it.
What happens if you don't pay that fine?
Yeah, then you got to do some time.
Then you have to do time. So
yeah, because you can't get away from it.
So they're gonna throw you in fucking jail for cigarettes.
Yep, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy. If you can somehow get them, but like I bet you, like it's under the counter. You know,
publicly execute Joe Biden.
Oh no! Don't say that.
I really think that we should chant Republicans, Democrats together.
They like him though. The establishment love Joe Biden.
I think that what we need to do is that we need to let one man go to jail over menthol cigarettes. And then we all publicly execute Joe Biden together because the idea that that's real and that can happen in the United States is fucking preposterous. It's fucking preposterous and it's fucking insane.
That's terrible.
And the idea that they've done that and they're not still promoting the idea of fucking vitamin D for COVID is still fucking insane.
They never even told you how to protect your health. You know, most people who died of COVID were fat. It's just, it's the doggy world. I mean,
I think heart disease still is the number one cause of death in this country, which heart disease is mostly linked to diabetes, which is mostly linked to
obesity because we're the fattest freaking people in the world.
So,
but you know,
are you gonna ban fat people? Why aren't you banning McDonald's?
No, you can't ban fat people. That's rude. You have to let people be fat.
Ban McDonald's. Why aren't you banning McDonald's?
Because everyone likes their McDicks, Chris.
Dude, I don't even know how to process that. That's the one thing where I really am like, you still on the war on drugs. This is still a part of
menthol cigarettes, bro. You can't get that. He even says you can't get your beef. They're trying to cut down on beef. But he's only done 2. From the things I've seen, he's done good with his Buy American plan. He has this infrastructure plan, which actually, to be honest, is pretty good. And the family plan is pretty good. But the man, I don't know. We have record levels of inflation. He's trying to spend a lot of money. He's been spending a lot of money. There's the cost of goods at Shaw, like even at Shaw's, if you've seen, like milk's been increasing, like even just normal foods have been increasing in price. People have been worrying. This whole part with the pipeline, the Colonial Pipeline shutting down, messes with the economy, and there's already been stories about lower levels of gas, that they don't have enough gas. I mean, even before the Colonial Pipeline shut down, like I don't know. This next couple of years might get tricky. The economy might flip. There might be an economic crisis, like in 2008. I'm being dead serious. Like I've moved around my stocks too, and reallocated some of my money. So I don't know what to expect, but I can only look at the news and talk about it.
Should I take all of my money invested in Bitcoin?
Not in Bitcoin right now. I mean, I would buy the dip.
Should I take all my money invested in Doge right now? Is that the game plan?
How much money you got, bro? Tell me what you're saying. For safe bet, I would put at least 75% of my stuff in, like, maybe buying Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin right now is at a low. It'll go back up. Hands down. Buy it. It's on a sale right now.
Okay.
Dogecoin, put just money you're willing to lose.
Problem is with Bitcoin, it's kind of hard to get it right. Unless you have, like...
Go get Robinhood or Coinbase.
Coinbase works?
Coinbase works. Fees, yeah.
Okay. I thought you could only get it through, like, Cash App.
No, you can get it through Cash App. You can get Robinhood. You can get it through Coinbase, Crypto.com.
Restriction on that? This
No.
is the kind of problem is that you can only fucking really participate.
28. You can be 18 for Robinhood, I believe, and
so
I think
have to get
Coinbase.
my fucking parents. This is such a pain in the ass, dude.
I know.
How can you own a podcast and yet you can't invest in stocks?
Because they don't want you to lose your money.
It just doesn't even make any fucking sense, dude. I swear to God. What's the difference right now? I'm 17 and what am I? I'm 17 and a half. I'm over a half a year. So I'm like 17 and like 7 months. What happens in the fucking 5 months that I can't invest in stocks or go to the lottery?
Your brain magically grows like
in the
3 centimeters width
in the 5 months.
In the 5 months,
It's crazy.
Then I don't know, man.
It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make any sense. None of this makes sense.
I don't get how the market. It's like even for day trading, it's like, oh, you have to have 25K to day trade. I'm like, so they're saying, oh, to protect your assets. I'm like, bro, get out of here. If I have the money and I have whatever money I can, let me day trade, bitch.
Dude, the whole thing with you have to be 25 to drive a rental car. That's like
that's stupid for me. Like I know exactly what you mean. Like,
dude, you can go to war. The government can force you to go to war, and you can't drive a fucking rental car. You can't drive.
This world doesn't make sense, don't you? Like, this is why I don't get mad anymore, Chris. It doesn't make sense.
I feel like this is a good place to wrap it up.
Yeah, bro.
Just a little bit. We've been going for.
I love being here, man.
Dude, it's always a fucking blast when you're here, dude. We always have a good fucking episode, man.
Thanks for having me, like always, dude. We always have a good talk.
Always. We always do, and you always fucking enlighten me with your knowledge. Hopefully we could do this a little bit more over the summer, so we can
man. I'll be
more
around.
Free time and shit. So yeah. No, I'm excited, man, and so. For the summer, I'm going to get back on, and hopefully this country doesn't go to fucking shit, like you and I say it is, and
I'll keep it posted.
Yeah, hopefully.
You gotta watch my channel, man.
I'll fucking check it. I watch it occasionally. Yeah. I do. I check it out here and there. I just don't have the time to keep up with it.
No, I know. It's a lot.
You're on a grind. Man. There's a lot. There's a lot. It's good. I don't expect anyone else to keep up with my podcast, though, either, so. But, yeah, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on and talking some shit with me and explaining some shit, bro. It's always good having you on, and hopefully you'll fucking come back.
Yeah, go check out What's Up America, guys.
Go check out What's Up America. Hopefully I find the fucking links to the
I'll send it to you.
Greg's shit, to Greg shit, and to Christian shit, and yeah. Peace out, motherfuckers.
Peace out, guys.